Hi everybody, this is Carolyn Speaks, The State of Our World on Tuesday, September 8, 2020. So what is it? Well, let's see if we can figure it out, okay? Now, as of early this evening, we had 6,347,974 confirmed cases in the United States. And we also had 190,654 people have passed away from this virus. A real shame because it's not taken seriously from the beginning, and it's still not. We really need to have a lockdown, national lockdown, social distancing mandated, wearing a mask mandated, and you only go out when you need to, like the drugstore, the doctor, or the grocery store. And that's what we need to do. So, this virus has hit really hard essential workers who don't have the luxury of staying home or working from home, and they have to go out to work in the grocery store or drive the truck, or be the healthcare worker or the first responder, the agricultural workers, the farmers. And then we have the people, so they're the ones who have been really hard hit. Native Americans on the reservations being hard hit. And the another group is people living in veterans' homes, retirement homes, assisted living homes, and nursing homes, prisons and jails and detention centers, because they're like a captive audience for the virus. So how do we get rid of this virus? Well, we have to test everybody. No getting around that. Have to test everybody. Trace if someone has a virus, trace their contacts, and any of those contacts test positive, trace their contacts. Everyone who tests positive, put them in quarantine and get them well. It's not hard to do. You also have to worry about the election coming up and Trump's attempt to steal it. The post office needs to be preserved, and Trump is trying to destroy it. And then we have public education, has basically been shut down. Education has been shut down. Virtual learning is what's happening. And no matter what he says, school districts are deciding for themselves, states are deciding for themselves. But schools should remain closed until they're safe to reopen, and students should virtual learning at home, and the federal government should be providing money for every student in the U.S. to have the proper technology, computers, and access to real high-speed internet, and they can do this. So those are some of the things we need to do. We have the post office. We have to end these delays, bring back those collection boxes, bring back those sorting machines, and preserve the post office, because it is a treasure set up by Benjamin Franklin before the American Revolution. And we have to keep schools closed so it's safe to open them, and we have to make sure that we have a fair election where everybody is able to vote safely. Mail-in ballots is the best way, but Trump's trying to destroy that. So you have to make sure that he doesn't succeed. Now, we also, still ongoing, is racial violence and police brutality against minority people in this country. That's been going on for a long time. We really have to solve this problem and honor everybody, be fair to everybody. And there's always been police brutality against minority people, but it really came to a surge after a man named George Floyd was murdered in Minnesota by a white police officer. And protests are going on around the clock and all over the country. And then we have counter-protesters, people who don't like the Black Lives Matter movement, who don't like people who are Latino or African American or Asian or whatever. who aren't exactly like them, and so there we have these counter-protesters who are representing right-wing militia groups, and they're out there doing what they can to stir things up. So when there's violence and damage occurring during a peaceful protest, it's really attributable to these right-wing groups, not to the peaceful protesters. But when you see or read about the protesters, is the violence that comes through in the media, not the peaceful part. So our media is failing us. All right, these are all ongoing. Now, you really have to wear a mask whenever you go out in public. You have to practice social distancing. That's 6 feet between you and anyone else. And you only have to go out when you have to, like to go to the drugstore or the doctor or the grocery store. But basically, I guess you might call it hibernating. But stay quarantined, do self-quarantine. And we have governors who have been doing a good job and governors who have not been doing a good job who want to stay on Trump's good side. And many people who aren't wearing their masks and aren't social distancing, and they're going to large gatherings, and as a result, we get these breakouts of the virus, surges in the virus. There was a motorcycle rally in South Dakota, I think, not too long ago, and had a lot of 100,000 people there, and people who've gone to that rally are now testing positive for the virus, and some have passed away from the virus. So it's really have to control this, and we really need a leader who's going to step up and do the right thing, and make sure there's personal protective equipment for everyone, hospital equipment for everyone, tests for everyone, and a national testing plan. And that's what we need, and that's what we do not have, unfortunately. So, make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you are knowledgeable about the issues and candidates on your ballot, and vote. Please do vote. Very important. Now, I think maybe it's time to have a little song. What do you think? Okay. The song I'd like to sing today is Amazing Grace. It's a very old song. I don't know who wrote it, so let's give it a try. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. This grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Okay, that's Amazing Grace. Hope you liked it. Thank you for tuning in this evening of Tuesday evening of September 8th, 2020. And take care of yourself and others. There's a lot going on in the world, all kinds of things. And the reason I continue to talk about this virus and police brutality and education and the post office, because those are things that are very important to all of us, and that's why I continue to emphasize them. I know you all listen to the news, you get news from various sources, but I choose to concentrate on these items. Alright, well thank you very much for tuning in. Hope to see you all back here again tomorrow for another meeting with Carolyn Speaks, the State of the World. So stay safe, take care of yourself and others. Remember, kindness goes a long way. Kindness goes a very long way. Thank you. Good night, all.